Good evening, everyone. Today we are here with Miss Tanya Terry, and I'm going to be asking her some questions about her experience during the Flint water crisis. Miss Terry, can you introduce yourself?
Hello, I'm Tanya Marie Terry. I'm a Flint resident and I live in the 7th Ward.
Okay. So how did the initial impact of the Flint water crisis impact your day-to-day life?
Initially, I just really didn't understand the seriousness of it all. I never, like anyone, expected it to last as long as it did. The situation started to prolong itself, and I started to hear stories on the news and in the newspaper. I did start to get a little more concerned, and now I'm almost to the point where I have emotional breakdowns from time to time.
How are you coping with?
Well, my faith in God helps me. I keep telling myself that God is going to protect me and protect my family, but it's hard sometimes. Sometimes when I'm not coping well, I'll have nightmares about people that I love experiencing some of the effects of the water that have affected some of the loved ones of people that I know. Also, sometimes I'm driving in the car and I just think about it and I'll just start crying.
Are you currently using bottled water or filtered water?
I'm currently using bottled water, and I use that to drink, to make coffee. I use it to wash dishes. I use it to bathe, and I'm looking to get a filtration system and to replace my pipes, but sometimes it's not as easy as people may think it is.
Yeah, and that's like very expensive to get a whole filtration system in your house. So why did you make that decision to transition to bottled water?
Well, I transitioned to bottled water when I moved back to Flint, and was noticing the effects of lead on the brain and on other parts of the body. And when we heard that the water was safe and then found out that it wasn't, I definitely stuck with my bottled water. Even when they said it was safe, I definitely stuck to the bottled water. Sometimes I think that I would be okay with the lead water, and I don't worry too much about myself, but I have a mother that's a senior citizen. I have a niece and a nephew that are quite young, and I have a little dog that I even worry about. So I don't want them to see me using the lead water ever, because I don't want them to think that it's okay.
Yeah. Have your pipes been replaced?
My pipes have not been replaced, and I'm definitely looking into that, because I know that even if I get a filtration system, that it's not going to be good enough. I definitely need to get those pipes replaced.
So, since you use bottled water, where do you mainly get your water from? Do you get it from like giveaways or like churches, family?
At one time I was getting it from the churches and from different organizations, but that's become very scarce, and people outside of Flint may not understand that. And it's just very hard to come by the water. Sometimes you would go and wait for water and they'd run out of water before you get there. So I just decided to just go ahead and buy the water, though when you're using it for everything it's expensive, and I typically go through a case a week or more.
What has been the physical impact of the Flint water crisis for you and your family?
Well, I have a nephew who has autism and ADHD, and he lives in Grand Blanc, but when he comes to Flint, he likes to play in the water. He doesn't understand, because he has autism, that you can't do the same thing at home. He gets into routines, basically. And he gets rashes and has to go to the doctor. And we don't know what the long-term effect of that is going to be, and that's why I have a lot of the nightmares that I have. And then that's a physical effect for him. Mostly for me, mine has just been emotional.
So what has been the emotional impact of the Flint water crisis for you and your family?
It's just devastating. The nightmares that I have them about once a week. And like I said, sometimes I'm in my car and I'll just start crying out of nowhere. And especially when you talk to people and they're from other places and they know about Flint and they think that the situation is over, it's so far from over. And that's one of the most upsetting things.
Yeah. What has been the social impact of the Flint water crisis for you and your family?
Well, unfortunately, a lot of my some of my family members have chosen not to live in Flint, but I came back, and when I was outside of Flint, I had a lot of guilt, and we just can't relax when we're at a family gathering. We just don't know what's going to happen if you get some of the lead in our system. Like, we have to use bottled water, like I said, to wash dishes after our family gatherings. And socially, we're just afraid to gather like we would have otherwise.
Do you trust the water at your local restaurants and other establishments?
No, I don't. Even if they say that they use other water, I don't trust the water at the local establishments. And I typically don't buy anything but bottled water, even if I go to like a McDonald's drive-thru or something.
Mm-hmm. As a woman, has the water crisis impacted you differently? Well, as a woman, we know that there are certain effects, and I definitely think that it's not something that's affecting just men, though. It's not affecting just women. It's not affecting children. It's not affecting just one race. It's affecting everybody here and everyone who has loved ones here. And it's not gotten better. If anything, I think it's gotten worse. Okay, so tell us about your daily routine as it pertains to using water.
Well, I get the water from the basement and use about a half a bottle to brush my teeth. I have to warm up water sometimes on the stovetop to wash my body and take my shower. So, I give my dog bottled water. I use a bottle or two to make coffee in the morning. And that's just the morning time. So my routine that would have normally taken me 30 minutes sometimes is going to take like over 2 hours because of this.
Wow. So how many people live in your household?
Right now, 2 plus a dog.
So how much water do you use in your household per week?
I would say in the household, a case and a half at least.
Okay. Do you look for organizations who donate water?
Yes, I do look for them, but I don't find them very much, so that's why I don't really rely on that. And like I said, a case, this is not like a small case, this is like a large, very large case of water. It would be like equivalent to like 4 regular sized cases of water.
Okay, well, thank you, Ms. Tanya, for sharing your story. That's all the questions I have for you today.
Thank you for taking the time to talk to me.
No problem.
How you do? For what you have done. My name is Antonio Lee. Oh, world. I live in the city of Flint, Michigan. Oh, I know you don't know. Thank you. But if I can just borrow a few minutes of the time, yeah, I like to talk about this Flint thing. You see, this is something you really just heard of. Yeah, but this was going on about 2 years ago. Yes, it was. You see, look at here. Flint, Michigan has a population over 100,000 people. We consider to be a poor economical city because of our economical problems. But there's over 45,000 white people that live here also. So I can truly say it wasn't a black and white thing. You see, our former mayor, down in Walling, he knew about it. He was trying to sweep it under the rug. But as you and I know that what's in the dark gonna always come in the light. Is that right? And our governor, Mr. Rick Snyder, see, he was so busy trying to build a bridge from Detroit to Canada over in the rich neighborhood. He turned his back on it. Yes, he did. Oh, yes, he did. Lord have mercy. But I thank God for a new mayor, Dr. Karen Weaver. Oh, yeah. When this lady got in office, she traveled all over the world, begging for help, trying to save our city. She would let them know we don't need another mountain. We don't need another valley. We just want some clean, safe drinking water. Help us, please. Help us, please. And world, I must confess, you heard and you responded beautifully. Yes, you did. Stars and celebrity was coming from all over the place. The Russell Simmons, Hillary Clinton, Reverend Jesse Jackson. Then all of a sudden, look like some 18 wheelers packed with waters coming to Flint. Oh, thank you. Oh, yeah, thank you. I want you to know, we thank you. Let me explain to you about this lead. Tell it, brother, man. See, that water was so contaminated with over 100% lead till you can't drink it. We couldn't bathe in it, and you better not bathe your kids in it. It slowly and surely deteriorates the brain in time. And it just seemed like nobody cared about us. Like the Karen Weaver. In the world, we just want you to know that we'll never forget what you've done. But the battle isn't over yet. You see, we was kind of like a Katrina. They were so busy trying to save the French water, they let them people drown and die in that water. Lord have mercy, it's a crying shame. Yeah. And Flint just wants you to know that we thank you. Because without your help, we didn't know what to do. Yeah. Thank you. We truly thank you. You know, I truly believe, and I'm a firm believer of this. Tell it, brother, man. If you do the crimes, you need to do the time. And since our water was so saturated with lead and undercover, Governor Rick Snyder, you better hope nobody end up dead. Yeah, that's it. Oh, well, I just want to thank you. Truly thank you. Oh, it ain't over with yet. But we just want to thank you.